I've been thinking about authority,
hmm
okay? Because everybody, we know the most important things we are know your type, strategy, interlinked, and authority. And if you
hmm
just master those things or experiment, I guess not to master them, but just be aware of them,
hmm
then everything just in the chart starts to really, you get in better alignment with your own energy because you're starting to actually follow your design,
hmm
right?
hmm
However, I know that it can, especially in the beginning, be a little confusing to understand your own authority or the authority of those around you. Human design reveals who you are energetically and who you came here to be. I'm Dana, human design specialist.
And I'm Haley, the human design newbie. Listen in as we explore how leaning into your authentic self is your ultimate path to success. Welcome to the Human Design High podcast. Let's get into it.
Well, hello, Haley. How are you today?
It's been an adventure.
You're probably doing better than me, I'm sure.
I think so.
Uh, we almost we almost said to hell with the whole thing today. We had a little bit of a disaster. We did not. Haley's fine. We did not
Yeah.
have a disaster. I had a disaster right before we hit record.
hmm
I knocked over my whole glass of water onto my desk, which included my computer. And I thought I was doing pretty good because I had quick reflexes to turn my computer upside down and run to go get towels. I figured, yeah, now that I think about it, I think it was a lot of water.
You said it was a whole class. You basically just drowned your computer.
But a lot of it seemed to go on the desk. I had a big desk. I mean, I came back and I could hear it running onto the floor. And I was just like, oh, my computer. So first thing I did was pick it up and try to wipe it off and do what I can there. And then cleaned up the water here on the desk and on my desk mat, my leather desk mat. I think it's fake leather. I don't think it's real leather. We'll find out if it's stained like fake leather or real leather. So then I said, oh, hey, I told Haley, hang on, send her a text. I just spilled water all over everything. I'll get us back up and running. So I
Mhm.
set everything back up, dry it off, set it all back up. Computer's pretty dry, I think. And then it won't turn on. It's just nothing. It's just black. Everything's black. And Ian, my computer genius, is not home. He just got home from work. And so then I was like, well, we could try it with my iPad, get on Zoom. But I don't know if
Mhm.
anybody here has tried to record or just tried to be on Zoom on your iPad. What? Well, it's dumb. I look like I was just ignoring you the whole time I was talking because I was looking over in another direction because the iPad's
Yes.
not set up for that. And then, so now I'm on my husband's computer, and that took a hot minute to get that set up because I had
Mhm.
to open Chrome. I had to find all my passwords. I mean, thank God the recording aspect of all this is online.
Mhm.
Most everything that I do is some kind of online application. Thank
Mhm.
God. Even most of my files, everything is like Google Drive. Thank God.
I saw that panic in your eyes.
I haven't been saving stuff to buy our drive in a while. I was telling Haley, I just made copies of all the episodes uh,
Mhm.
and put it on external drive just in case something happened to Google Drive. But apparently, that's not what my guides were telling me. They're like,
It's like,
no,
no, no.
you're going to spill water on your computer today. Thank you. And
Yeah,
so on top, oh God, and now I've got notifications.
I could
And
hear that one.
I know, I don't know how to it's not my computer. I don't know how to turn them off. I don't know. So then we're like, okay, we are all set to record. We get into Squadcast and Haley can't hear me on my microphone.
No, I could, but you were
Okay.
echo skipping.
Oh, yes, I was echoing and skipping. Skipping. I'm gonna give
I
her some kind of brain
felt
damage.
I felt like I was trying to be brainwashed.
Yeah, look at me on the camera right now. I'm trying to figure out how to turn off notifications. I'm sorry. I'm just dedicated to getting this done. Well, anyways, so then we're like, okay, well, it must be an issue with Squadcast because we've had
Mhm.
lots of issues with Squadcast, right?
Yes, it's been
So then
frustrating.
we move over to Zoom again. And this is when we figure out, nope, I think it's the microphone, which if that's the case as well, I'm very upset because my microphone was plugged into the computer when it got wet. So
Mhm.
if I fried that freaking cord, I just so now I apologize for the sound quality because I am on my era 2015 headphones that I always use to listen, but I don't have to
Mhm.
use it for the microphone. And so hopefully in post, just I can make it sound a little bit better.
You
So
need to just hold the headphone cord like they do in those stupid Instagram reels where they hold it right in front of their
just hold it right here the whole time.
wand.
Was that really loud?
That's so loud. I don't have ears
Well,
anymore.
we know they work. They work. Oh good
So
God.
now that we're an hour into trying to record.
Oh no, it has been an hour. And so I was like, I would think there was some kind of like Mercury retrograde or something, but and the worst part, like I told Haley, is that I was prepared today. Like
No.
I was prepared. I ready to go. So I'm a little frazzled. And then I was like, oh, we'll get on, we'll have a little chit chat. And I was like, oh, I don't have much to talk about. And then boom, I've got a whole disaster. Now I'm reaching very far over
Be careful. Careful, SpongeBob.
entirely different desk. I have another desk next to my desk. Yeah. So there's that. Welcome to the show. I kind of just
Welcome.
forgot we were still recording.
It's a shit show.
It's a show. I know. Speaking of shit shows, so I do want to put a little shout out. Haley has started a little side venture.
Yes.
Oh my God, she's turning so red right now.
No.
We didn't say we were going to talk about this. So she's like, what? So Haley has a little Etsy shop set up. It's probably maybe not so seasonal now. A lot of the
Well, I mean, it's a skeleton, but they're not like they don't say like Happy Halloween. Like it says, I really shouldn't have eaten that taco of skeleton running away.
So what's the name of your Etsy shop?
So it's Marin Designs Co.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep.
Marin being your middle name.
Yes. Yep.
And what's your shop about?
So it's just kind of about fun little spunky designs. Just things that don't it's almost like things that don't feel like they should go together, but they do.
Like
Well, like those skeletons, they all just have like, did I leave the stove on? Or it's a shit show.
So basically what we're talking about, she's got some clothing and some stickers and stuff that are little drawing sketches of skeletons in various
Poses
that Haley has captioned and put up. My favorite one, I have it in my cart. I could have used it today as a sweatshirt. And it says, I has morbs.
I has the morbs.
I has the morbs. I like that one, and I do like the shit show one. It's a shit show. And there's one on there that I think the only people that might get it is us because it's totally an inside family joke. There's one that says squeeze through. which I think is hilarious because it was about a movie we watched that was one of the worst movies I've ever seen that has delightfully entertained us ever since. Because as we watched it, Haley and Ian and I, when was that? That was like Ian's birthday. That was Lakeland. It was the graduation. When you were here, it was back at the beginning.
Yeah, it was. I think it was May.
And God, what I thought it was going to be a good movie.
It was.
It's
It
like
wasn't Cowboys and versus Aliens, but it was
which
something. It
Cowboys
was
and Aliens. Let me just say, one of my favorite movies.
great movie. I forget about it all the time, and then I
know.
remember, and it's
I
a
love
great
that
movie.
movie. No, this one was Vikings and
Yeah.
Aliens, sort of aliens.
Not the name of it, but that was the concept. It was but
What was the name of it? Because we want to save people the trouble of
what
ever
was
seeing this movie.
what was the actor?
Jim Caviezel or whatever his name. Oh my God, did you hear that?
Not that one.
Oh God. Okay, that was a text.
Outlander. It was called Outlander.
Okay, which is so bad because
Yes.
there's the series Outlander, right? That's the
Mhm.
series, which I watched some of because I read all those books. But this was about a guy who like comes from outer space. He's human, obviously, and I think, and lands in Viking time. And I
Yeah.
thought, oh, what a great premise.
Sounded great.
It was the worst movie I've ever seen.
We actually watched it for the first 10 minutes, and then it was just like
And then your dad
a comedy show. And then Lakeland.
And then the three of us on the couch got to it of like, oh, let's tear this thing apart.
It was just every little scene we had comments to it. It was the funniest thing I've ever. I wish we had like recorded ourselves watching it.
It was so bad, but there was just one scene in particular that always has stuck with us just because they were on this
underground. They were
underground. Were they underground?
With like,
they're in a cave, but then they're on top of a waterfall, and then they're underground again. And
yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
So there was like the two guys and the girl was stuck behind this wall, and there's a little crack in the wall, and she's reaching through, and the guy goes, squeeze through, and then
trying to save her. Yeah, something was after her. It's like, squeeze through.
Yeah. The next cut scene is the guys running around the wall to the girl.
They were trying to get her to squeeze through that little opening when they could have just walked around the side like they did. So that was the level of editing in this movie. And
it was so bad.
It was bad. So there's our little family joke. We enjoyed it. As you can see, it still cracks us up. But anyway, so Marin Designs Co. on Etsy.
Can you say my middle name right?
Did I say it wrong again?
Yes. You said Marin.
I have been ruined by the other person in our life that has a daughter named Marin, or used to be named Marin, and Marin. I named you Haley Marin.
You did.
What? So Marin Designs Co.
Yes.
You have a new shirt that would be like, why does my mother not love me?
Oh
she doesn't know my name. Marin. Okay. So go check that out, everybody. It's really cute. You can get little stickers. It has a nice little you get sweatshirts, t-shirts, and stickers. That's just the beginning.
Yes. I don't know what my next designs will be.
We'll have to get you on our human design designs.
I know.
And I don't want you to, tackle and master how to create vector graphics. Anyways, we've let everybody wait long enough. I think it feels like forever because it took us an hour to get here to where we could record. So I'm not sure. Anyway, all right. So we're going to do a little couple parter here episodes. I think it may be 3 episodes. Okay. This is going to be the first one in this series. And I've been thinking about authority. Okay. Because everybody, we know the most important things we know your type, strategy, interlinked, and authority. And if you just master those things or experiment, I guess not to master them, but just be aware of them, then everything just in the chart starts to really, you get in better alignment with your own energy because you're starting to actually follow your design, right? However, I know that it can, especially in the beginning, be a little confusing to understand your own authority or the authority of those around you, because it's one thing to have your own understanding of how your authority works. But then, especially if you're different type than the people you're around a lot, it also kind of helps to understand, especially in your families, you might know what their designs are, how it interacts. But really, I just thought in this nice little container of these couple episodes where it would just be the information straight there. This episode is going to be about generators, generator type, which is going to include, of course, manifesting generators, because even though we talk about there being 5 types, really essentially the manifesting generator is a generator type, especially when it comes to, strategy and authority. It's gonna
There's 5 types, but like 4 groups.
Yeah, and I guess in the original design or original transmission of the system, there was not this extra type of or what some call the hybrid type of the manifesting generator. It was really sacrals and non-sacrals. Honestly, there was like at the beginning, it was like 2. You're a sacral type or you're non-sacral type. You're a doing type or a not doing type. It's like, but as Ra was, there's the original download and the transmission. And as he was, learning the system and his own translation of everything, really, I think it, kind of morphed into the 5 types. But so we thought we would just do in this episode the generator types. And then in subsequent episodes, I think projectors need their own episode because they have several different authorities. And then we'll do the manifestors and reflector, mainly because reflectors don't really have an inner authority. It's all outer, blah 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 blah. We'll get down that road when we get there. But we figured we'll start with generators because the majority of people on the planet are sacral types, generator types, right? And so I'm feeling a little discombobulated because a lot of times when I'm doing this, I have my screen over here, also my other screen that helps me with notes and looking at things. And I even had graphics to show you, Haley, and I can't do that now because they're on my computer. They are in my Google Drive, but that's just too much to do. All right, so let's get down to the authority, the different types of generators. We have done a full episode before on emotional authority, I think, but I've come to realize that it does not hurt to be repeating information because each time we talk about it, there may be some new nuances to it. You have a better understanding of it now. You could, maybe have new questions. So, all right. So what makes a generator, Haley?
It has a defined sacral.
Something very southern when you said that.
I know. I know.
It has a defined sacral. Wow.
It really comes out sometimes.
You are correct. Yes. So what constitutes a generator type is having a defined sacral center. And the sacral center is the center for workforce, life force, energy. And so there's essentially going to be mainly 2 types of generators, which would be what?
The generator
authority, the authority wise, I should say.
Okay. Or not the emotional authority? I don't
Emotional authority.
And then splenic?
No. So you were right. You started saying sacral, so pure sacral generator. Meaning
okay.
And so what defines that? So a pure sacral generator. So especially I think I wanted to have this conversation around this because in certain chart generators, it might say your authority is a certain thing, and it can sometimes be confusing if you can't find the information. But basically, if you are a pure sacral generator, a pure generator, they might call it, is it just means you don't have emotional authority. It means your emotional solar plexus center is undefined. So it means your sacral's defined, but your solar plexus is undefined.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And so that means this authority type then is the most, in the moment, yes or no authority. I don't know why I said the most.
It's been a day.
I feel like I'm kind of running blind here. I feel like I only have half the story. I'm going to rely on my intuition here to help get me through it. help guide me.
Yes.
Okay, so what does that mean? So that means that, well, we know that the generators have the sacral response, the yes or no, and that is present in generators, manifesting generators. It is the body sensation that gives you the indication if something is a correct use of your energy. And so, we talk about how when generators are young, they're little, they're children, they often have this or response to things. And that is that sacral center or that sacral response that we basically get conditioned out of as we grow up because people don't want their children grunting all the time. And, you know, we use your words, but then also we feel like, I think maybe more in women, and then I always go down this route, but women, we may have a sacral response that's like no, but 9 times out of 10, we probably override it because a lot of times there are things that we are asked to do or, what our opinion is, and we're not always honest with that answer because we've been taught to,
Be nice.
be
Smile.
nice. Be nice, smile, be supportive, don't be selfish. You're the caretaker. Women carry these roles, caretakers that that's a big sigh. I was just going there because I'm just thinking of the just hundreds of years of women just having to like not do what they want to do. And we're finally coming to a place where we can say no and mean no. So, okay, that was a tangent, but point being, I think when the male children, the man, the boy, or whatever, yes, no, a lot of times people will just say, "Oh, yes or no." Okay, well, they'll take them at their word if they want to do something or not. They don't have to explain themselves as much, I think. That's not, a blanket statement. We all have to do things that we don't want to right now, realistically, in this
But
world.
I feel like it's also because it's kind of also like that gut feeling, the sacral response. It can be that gut feeling. And I feel like a lot of times if it is a guy, other people be like, "Oh yeah, yeah,
He's
he's
confident.
got a gut feeling." But
He's
then
confident. He's
if it's a
decisive.
woman that is going off a gut feeling, they're like, "Oh, she's so emotional."
Yeah, where's your logic to back that up? I know, go with your
Yeah.
gut. Yeah, it's an admirable quality in men, and sometimes in women, they're like, "Oh, I don't know if she knows what she's talking about. She just feels like it." That's so annoying.
Yes.
That is annoying. So,
Mhm.
of all though, if you are a generator type and you have that sacral response and you're learning to honor it and follow it,
Mhm.
I always say it's not easy. It's not always
Mhm.
easy. But if this is your main authority, this becomes a real challenge, I think, in trusting the sacral response as your authority, which we should have talked up on. What is authority? It's your decision making. It's your own. We didn't get there. It's your own internal authority. It is how you make decisions, that are correct for you,
Mhm.
not like how you do it. It's how you should do it.
And
Mhm.
this decision making, this is more for the smaller things, right? Because the strategy I thought was for the bigger decisions.
No, actually, strategy is how you interact with the the quantum field, the people around you, and the energy around you. It's linked to your aura type. So strategy for a generator is wait to respond, right? So that is not how you make decisions. That's how you interact with those around you, right?
Okay.
Because that response is a part of, which I'm glad you brought this up, because it is linked to authority. Like authority can influence strategy, but there's different types of authorities, but a generator's strategy is a generator strategy, which is wait to respond. And if it's a manifesting generator, it's wait to respond. Still, that's the primary response there. And then after they've responded to something, they have to then inform before they take action, that manifester part. But so strategy for a generator, especially a pure sacral generator, would be the something outside of yourself to respond to, whether it is another person, it's a conversation, it's something you hear, it's something you see. It has to be something outside of you, not your own thinking, that you are responding to.
Okay.
Now, you can have thoughts about things of what you would like to do or what you've been thinking about, but that is not the indicator to just go and do it. There has to be something outside of the generator to respond to, because that's what activates that sacral response. And if you're a generator, you probably understand how it feels when you're just trying to take action from your head and you're not responding to anything. It's very confusing. It usually doesn't work. You're like, I don't know what I should do. That's because you're not responding to something. So, because generators are meant to be out there. We have what they call enveloping auras. It is looking for that response. It has this open and enveloping aura that draws things to it. And that gives that sacral that response, because it's a very powerful energy. The sacral center carries that energy that, builds worlds, it builds families, communities, and builds everything, right? And so to know if you're on the right path, you've got to get a yes. Okay. So where people that are pure generators, that pure sacral response, where they get tripped up, especially, you would think that it's an easy authority. Well, it is, in the sense that once you get in touch with that, it might take some practice of smaller things, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. But we've been conditioned, again, taught to think about things. And thinking about things is only going to complicate things for a sacral generator. Case in point, your husband is a pure sacral generator. And I think, I think from what I remember, he was quite relieved to hear that he could just follow that response.
Yeah.
Right. Because he does have a defined head in ajna as well. So there's a lot of mental activity that will want to get involved. But if he tunes into what his gut's telling him, that's the thing he has to follow, is that yes or no in the moment, yes or no. Same thing with like I said, for the manifesting generator, where they differ is things move a little faster for the manifesting generator. And, because the generators, like we said, the generator type, the sacral, here to build just the generator type, not manifesting generator, they move at a little bit slower pace. It's a kind of a slow and steady pace. There's those plateaus of energy as they move and they learn and they grow. Manifesting generator is like 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Isn't that the sports car, right? The manifesting generator?
Yeah, like they're ready to go, 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 and they have the energy to go, go, go. And what is the distinction there between the generator and the manifesting generator, as far as the like the Bodygraph, the configuration, what it looks like?
So the manifesting generator has a motorized throat, not just a defined throat. They have a motor that's connected to the throat.
That's correct. And so the generator does not have a motorized throat. They could have a defined throat center, like
you
I
do.
But what makes them a manifesting generator is there's the direct channel from the sacral center to the throat center through the 3420. Very powerful energy there. Or they could be connected to the root to spleen to throat, or root all the way up the middle to the throat, or the ego center over to will center. It's funny, I always call it the will center, but when I'm talking about motors, I often call it the ego center as well.
Oh.
It's like an ego authority. Or they have the solar plexus, which is a motor connected to it, but that makes them emotional authority. We're going to stay just with the sacral here for another couple of seconds. And so if the manifesting generator is a pure manifesting generator, that would mean that, it's probably most likely it's that sacral center connected to the throat through that 3420, like your dad. He has that channel. And I mean, technically also it's the root going through the spleen up to the throat as well. That is also another configuration because it's not involving the will center motor or the emotional solar plexus motor. It's just another way. So those manifesting generators, they definitely can trust that sacral response. These are going to be people that move really fast, really fast. They probably don't even, especially if it's that sacral straight to the throat, it's so fast that language can't even catch up. It's like, as they say to, yes, no, that kind of thing. Even that can slow them down. Like they can, and I swear to God, I see this in your dad all the time. He's just like gone. He's just on to the next thing. And I'm like, hey, wait, hello. He's like, oh, what? It's fast. Yeah. And I think about it too whenever we're talking about the manifesting generators. It's like, and that's 3420. It's like, I think about when I'm talking to him sometimes, he's just like, how quickly he can come back with a yes or a no. Like he doesn't even think about it. He's just like, oh, yep. And I was just like, oh, his signal response really fast. But anyways, so okay, so I think I said what can be a problem here with sacral authority is thinking that you have to think about it or you have to take a lot of time to make a decision. Do not.
Right.
Because the important thing to remember here for all generators is that sacral response is there, right, to guide your energy, but also generators, as much as we want to, aren't really long-term planners in a sense because they're always responding to life. They can be adaptable. They can move here. They can go there. They can pivot. They can do all this stuff because they are constantly supposed to be responding to life, not knowing necessarily the outcomes. It's only supposed to get us to the next response. And that is terrifying. A lot of times that's just the scariest freaking thing you could tell someone. It's like, you're going to do this. And if your body says yes, you go do it now, or not now, but you go do it. And you don't know what the outcome's supposed to be. I mean, it's talk about freaking putting your trust in the universe.
It's so funny because I don't see that as scary at all.
Well, yeah, because you're a projector. You're like, oh, but Ra wrote. He didn't write. He just gave lectures, and they recorded them and wrote them down. A whole book about generators, and which I've read. And he's always like, he was a manifester, and he felt like it was his mission to wake up all the generators. Like, could we just wake up all the generators on this planet and like let them know that just have no plans. You don't have plans. You just keep responding, which can be
hates that. Percy hates that. He loves a plan.
Well, I think it's a good idea to have a framework of a plan, like an idea or a destination, I guess, of like, I mean, because I always, I'll say, well, you can't do this, but I guess you could. That would be a real experiment to like seriously just yes or no your life. It's scary to me.
Going down a hole, come back up.
Well, it's not scary of like what would happen. It's more scary of like, what would the people around me experience? Like, who would I be upsetting? Who would I like be disappointing or letting down? Because
Mm-hmm.
I have I do on the regular not pay attention to my
Mm-hmm.
sacral as much as I should. And I've gotten better at it. It's a lot easier to um when I have a no, to just be like, no. And that's just it. I don't wanna. I'm just, not there.
Mm-hmm.
But so if you are pure sacral, that includes going through the spleen, because here's the little distinction here as well, as people get confused about that, is the spleen is also very much in the moment. And I'll talk about this after we talk about emotional authority as well, kind of wrap it all together. But it is the sacral is the primary authority there. If you're emotionally
Mm-hmm.
undefined, is just that yes or no response. I think the spleen can help guide you to things to respond to, but the
Sacral.
sacral has the final say there if you are a
Mm-hmm.
pure generator type.
Okay.
Same for the manifesting generators. Just remember, you respond to something, and then for things to go smoother for you, don't just go do it, even though you can. Just make
You
sure
have
you
to
let people
inform.
around you know what you're doing before you go do it. It's very simple. Very simple, yet one of the hardest things they do. So, okay, so let's move on to the other half. So half of generators are sacral generators. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's roughly, there's not a fine distinction.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other half is emotional, meaning they have defined solar plexus as well, as I do. I'm emotionally defined through 59.6, through the sacral to the solar plexus.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you know about emotional authority, Haley?
I know that there are 3 types of emotional waves. And generators that have a defined solar plexus, even though they do have that sacral response, they do have to wait things out through their emotional wave.
And now yes, so the things for emotional types, emotional generators that we're going to talk about here is no clarity in the now. So how this plays out with the sacral though, because it doesn't mean that the sacral isn't involved. It is involved. However, it means that you can have the response depending on what it is you're talking about, but then you do have to gain some clarity over time. What's the thing I'm talking about? Okay. So you asked earlier about bigger things, smaller things
Mm-hmm.
every day, right? Okay.
Right.
So you're right about that. When it comes to emotional authority, this is where it gets nuanced a little bit, I think,
Okay.
because let's go back to what you said about the types of waves, that there are emotional waves. So emotionally defined people have what they call the emotional wave, which is it's mechanical. Everybody's is different. It runs through different channels through the solar plexus. There's a tribal wave. There's an individual wave. There's a collective wave. And they vary in the intensity. Some are like high highs, low lows. Some kind of ratchet up and
Mm-hmm.
then dissipate. Some's very small undulations. Some are even. So it's just there. Like I said, there's a episode like back here, waving back here, back in the past. Episode on emotional authority, the different emotional authority waves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But so what the purpose of that is to understand, I think, that as emotional beings, as human beings, we are emotional, and the emotionally defined ones of us have this up and down energy to our emotional state. And it's affects our moods and how we feel about things. And
Mm-hmm.
the reason we need to wait for clarity is because if we respond to something in the moment and we're in an emotional higher state of our wave, we may agree to things that we then regret agreeing to.
Mm-hmm.
And where this gets extra complicated for a generator type is a lot of times when they commit to something, I mean, when they say yes to something, they kind of got to see it through. That
Mm-hmm.
energy has been engaged. they've got to, see the project through, see the relationship through, see the job, whatever, right?
Mhm.
And it's harder to get themselves out of things they've agreed to incorrectly.
Mhm.
Also, they say that if so, let me back that up. Sorry. I hear myself sometimes as I start to change thoughts as I'm talking, and I don't want to do that. So, so the sacral response comes first in the generator with emotional authority, and then they have to wait to see if that sacral
Mhm.
response stays consistent over time.
It's kind of like a
I got
it's
that
like
statement out. Okay.
kind of
Good.
like a two-part sacral response.
Yeah, because and now the timing thing you were talking about, this would be for things that are a little more, um, they carry a little more weight, I guess,
Mhm.
like, starting a job, entering into relationships, starting projects, spending money,
Mhm.
like a, fair amount of money. Like if
Big
you're at all
things. Yeah.
trepidatious, yeah, it doesn't even have to be thousands of dollars. It could be like, I don't have to buy a new computer.
Yeah. But it's
You'll
not
be
it's not
forced
for
into that.
like the little things like
Mm-mm.
where to go for dinner or,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, I might starve to death if I had to wave the emotional wave. You're like, "Do you want sushi night?" "Yes." "Well, we'll have to wait till tomorrow to see if you really want that
I have to sleep
sushi."
on it.
Yes. So, like I said, everybody's emotional wave has different, lengths to it. So,
Mhm.
rule of thumb is at least give yourself 24 hours to revisit that sacral response to see if it
Mhm.
still is consistent. If every time you come back to the response, it's still a yes, your body feels it, a yes, then, you can probably enter into that. If it changes at all, if it's sometimes yes, sometimes no, it's a good idea to maybe not enter into whatever that, you were responding to in the first place.
Mhm.
And this was a real eye opener for me discovering this because as I experiment with my authority, I've become so much more calm and less wishy washy or less stressed about certain things. Like I will still
Mhm.
overthink things till, the cows come home, let's say.
Mhm.
But I've become very comfortable with knowing in my emotional authority that I can take my time on certain things. And if it's right for me, one, it'll still be there. Two, still have that sacral response because
Mhm.
even when I was like shopping for cars, that's a big decision. We were going to
Mhm.
spend some money on a car. And my line one had me researching everywhere and every type of thing, every forum. And I would see something, I'd be like, I could tell like my sacral was very helpful in at least like guiding me in certain directions. And because I would just be total sacral no to certain like makes, models of car, like,
Mhm.
that's my sacral no. It's like, ugh. It just like caves in a little bit and like,
Yeah.
ew.
It's usually a facial expression for you.
And then the yes would be like, oh, I like that. That's kind of nice. But then, I was glad to know that I needed to like really feel it out, see
Mhm.
how it goes, so that even when I did find the car that I ended up buying, um, I went and I drove it, responded to it because I'd never seen this car before and hadn't even, when I was shopping online, hadn't seen this car, the Infinity, JX35. It's like 2013. It's a used car. And boy, is it nice. And, but then I knew it was safe to like walk away from that. It was safe to like talk to your dad about it, have him
Mhm.
come look at it. And each time I went back, I was like, do I still feel the same way? And it wasn't, this like really super excited. It was like a yes, but it was a calm yes, and it kept
Mhm.
being a calm yes, and it never got to be like, "Ugh, it's wrong." And my mind did try to talk me out of it several
Mhm.
times, but I knew it was the mind because how the body felt. And then I also knew that if we came back 2 or 3 days later and if it was still there, that's okay. because I know that I'll just be led to the next thing if I need to. That response will be there. But, I took several days to make sure that this was still the car that I wanted and always felt good because the idea is to get kind of that neutral space response where, you can get over the initial like, hi, and then
Like
still see if it feels right.
I feel like you would want it to just kind of feel like you said, calm, but like almost like a warm hug. Like it just kind of feels good and safe and like
Yeah.
just right.
Yeah. And it's, and it's the closest you can get to right because it's like even though something stays yes, it can be a consistent yes and everything, it's the closest we can get to knowing that it's right. Because these authorities are meant to help guide us to make decisions the best that we can, which is by listening to our body wisdom, instead of the mind that wants to just, like I said, smire us with doubt and questions and everything else. So this can be tricky, the emotional authority for manifesting generator types because they want to get into action really fast. Excuse me. Because they want to get into action really fast because they can get into action. So, and we'll talk about manifestors too later on, but in this instance, they would have to have that response. But then if it's something bigger, like we were talking about, they have to like pump the brakes. They've got to pump the brakes and see if it's really still something that they want to get into action about. And so that, can be very tricky for the emotional generator to have to wait. And like I said, they don't have to wait to see if they want, where they want to eat, what they want to do that day, they can still follow that response. But I generally say if it's going to involve spending a large amount of money or it involves other people, getting into, some kind of relationship type of thing, even if it's just for a brief time or it's just, career, doesn't have to be romantic and stuff. It's good to like take it a little bit slower. And so because I think it talked about making sure that because then it's harder to get out of something that you've entered into.
Talked about that.
Oh, the other thing is also if your yes has been inconsistent and you
Has been
follow through
inconsistent.
through your emotional wave, but you feel like it's something you should do, or you feel like you're, oh, well, it doesn't make
You're
sense
like,
not to do this, so I'm going to do it.
Or like you started out with a yes, but now you're kind of wavering.
Yeah. And you go ahead with it anyhow. Whatever that experience you enter into, quite often, how you experience it is going to then be varied as well. It's going to be inconsistent. There's going to be a lot more, rocky road ahead kind of thing, ups and downs. It's going to feel less sure, whatever it is you've gotten into. So that was that. So really, that's the basics of it there. And so what I wanted to touch on real quick, because I know people will say, well, what if I have all of these defined? Right? And I can speak to that because I do not have a defined root, but I do have emotional authority. I am a generator and I have a defined spleen. So I can tell you that part is, like I said, the sacral is the first response. I believe that if you have a defined spleen and you are a generator, like I said, that I feel is your intuition guiding you towards things to then respond to. Does that make sense? It helps you, because the spleen is all about your well-being anyhow, and timing and intuition and all that stuff. So it can kind of get you in the right place at the right time to respond to.
And then it's like, sacral, you're up.
Sacral, pass it off. And then the sacral's like, yes, solar plexus, back to you. You're like,
and they're like, let me sit on it. Sacral, back to you.
And technically, you could also have a defined will center. So all of those motors could be defined, just not connecting to the throat for the generator. And that, remember, the will center, ego center, will center as a motor operates how?
That's the gas tank.
Yeah. It's a gas tank. It needs to be filled up, right? Or like a bank account or a gas tank. It can be depleted. And when it's depleted, quite often what happens as a generator type, and you have that center defined, is you will find that there are less things to respond to. You won't necessarily have things coming your way because the will center just does not have the will. There's no way. It is like on empty. And that's when generators, leading to burnout, that type of thing. Because also the will center is about what you want, what you desire, what it is that motivates you to get you, because it's all about the material world and what it is you want. And so if that's completely tapped out, it means you've been pushing that sacral too hard, pushing in a direction you might not, need to go, or you just haven't been honoring the signs of all the other indicators. And that it, like I said, you might find that the universe will be like, sweetheart, you need some rest. So
You need to take care of yourself.
We're just going to stop rolling things your way. And, that generator gets stuck and it's like, where's nothing happening to me? Why is there nothing to respond to? Well, if you have if you have that ego will center defined, maybe look into like, are you, pushing past where you should? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you rejuvenating? Those types of things. So basically, sacral number 1, yes or no, your emotional authority over time, and just honoring those responses. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Do you have any questions?
Not at the moment.
Okie dokie. Yeah, so did you see, so same thing, manifesting generator, everything I just said about that well center, that will apply as well. Like I said, the main difference here when it comes to authority and the difference between generator and manifesting generator really is what they have to do before they get into action. Right? Because they still, no matter what, are a generator type. They have to respond to something outside of themselves and then inform those who are going to be affected before they act.
Yes.
Sometimes right away, sometimes over the course of a couple days or a week or whatever. So I hope we didn't,
beat a dead horse.
I wanted to say it, but I didn't know if that was the right thing to say. I didn't know if I was driving the point too much or, just saying it too much, too many times.
I don't think so. No, I think it was good.
Okay.
I did not feel belabored.
Belabored. Okay. All right. Well, then we're just going to leave that there. We don't need to belabor the point now. We've made our point.
Yes.
I hope. If you have any questions, just let me know. So that brings us to
the Incarnation Cross of the Week.
I'm going to have a little jingle. I'm going to have to come up with a little jingle. I'll find one somewhere to play. Okay. So today we have the, let me get a drink of water quick. Clear the desk.
Careful,
SpongeBob.
Lovely. Careful, SpongeBob.
The left angle cross of the plane, plane, like a plane. Left angle cross, but it's not referring to plane. Not that kind of plane. Left angle cross of the plane 2.
Okay. So that means it's a 5 or a 6 line. And it was
there's 2 versions of it. No, it's just 2 versions of it.
It's the left angle crosses that confused me. Because if it was a right angle cross, then it would have been in the second quarter, right?
Yeah. We're
not going to get into it again.
We're not going to do that.
So the left angle crosses
left angle crosses, yes. They there's going to be just 2 variations of a left angle cross.
And it doesn't necessarily mean it's in the second quarter of the year.
Bingo.
Yes. Okay. I'm
We're just going to leave it there.
Yep. We don't need to get into it again.
We don't need this to just be the Incarnation Cross podcast, where every week we come on just try to explain yet again how this works. Starting to feel that way, but okay.
Okay.
So this consists of, on the personality side, the right side of the chart, in the sun is gate 6, gate of friction, and in the earth is gate 36, gate of crisis. And then on the left-hand side of the chart, on the design side, the sun is in gate 15, extremes. And then in the sun is, Earth is gate 10, behavior of the self or self-love.
So we have friction, crisis,
extremes,
and self-love.
Yeah, behavior of the self. Yeah, so it's like the self. Okay,
let's see where this goes.
Yeah, it could be a shit show, but I think it's going to be nice. No. Okay, if you were born under the left angle cross of the plane 2, you're here to be a guiding light for others, especially when they venture into the complexities of real life. You walk this path and understand the trials that come with striving for personal growth and authenticity. Whenever others encounter obstacles, your wisdom is there to help them overcome their challenges. One of your key roles is to assist people in breaking free from those habits and behaviors that hold them back from self-love and compassion. Your knowledge becomes a powerful tool, empowering them to break the chains of their past limitations. You are on a quest to elevate love in the world, aligning the very essence of love with the way that we live. This newer path you're forging is all about embracing love in all its forms. And as you shatter the old patterns, you create opportunities for collaboration and leadership, directing innovative ideas towards new horizons in our shared journey of growth and transformation.
You can see the interpersonalness coming out because it is more about sharing what you have gathered and learned.
Well, that behavior of the self, a lot of that is like, that compassion and self. Well, compassion is also in gate 15, gate of extremes. There's because 15 and 10 are both in the G center. And then the 6 and the 36 are both in the solar plexus. So there is these two gates there that
interesting,
journey of the self. And they're all, there's no channels created in this cross with those gates, but you could have channels defined there. But yeah, so that's the left angle cross of the plane 2. And that's how we wrap it up.
Yes.
Everybody, go check out Haley's Etsy store. Marin Designs Co. Yeah, if you need a sweatshirt for this winter. I need one today.
There's funny ones.
Yeah,
I crack myself up with them.
I know. I like the other one, which was it's not blurred out. What would you call it in text? It's like not the actual curse word, but
no, I put little sparkles. They're like little sparkles.
Yeah, F this shit, I'm out.
Yeah,
I like that one. She sent me that as a Halloween card.
Yes.
I really enjoy. Yeah, so go ahead and check her out. And as always, if you need any help with your design or your chart, you need some clarification, or you're looking for guidance on purpose or messaging or anything like that, be sure to check out my website, humandesignhive.com. Check out my offerings. There's always going to be more to come. I'm going to be collaborating with Haley on some things to hopefully get more things on the website, since she has this design which even before I knew human design, I knew you had it in you, that you were this creative person that wanted to do things. So we're going to tap into that. All right. So we appreciate everybody for listening. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and bye for now, Haley.
Bye.
Well, you made it all the way to the end of today's episode, so you must have liked what you heard. If you did, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode, and perhaps leave us a good review. And if you know someone who wants to dig into all things human design with us, make sure you share the Human Design Hive podcast with them. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks for listening.